give me fire, give me that which I desire.
Welcome back to Wind Tunnel TV. We've got the Alive Church Xfinity Series, Live Fully Alive. Live from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Look at that beautiful shot of Charlotte. Holy cow, under the lights here this evening. I'm Dean Doucette. He's Jared Carr. Jared, I mean, this overview of Charlotte, it couldn't be more beautiful.
Yeah, it's a great track, Dean. One of my favorite tracks, and it's, a popular track, right? It's probably the most popular track on the service as far as ovals go. A lot of people, a lot of North Carolinians in this series. A lot of Carolinas, a lot of Virginia's clubs in here. So, I mean, this is kind of a home track for some of these guys, if you will. So, I mean, it's exciting. Great to be out here. And Dean, we have just a lot of talent on the racetrack. But, boy, the story is coming out of last week, George Leal extending that points lead just by a little bit over Bryce Reiner. And he has the opportunity to shut the door tonight.
Well, he really does, right? I mean, we look in on those championship standings right now. Top two are official. The rest are slightly variation from official, but Leal, 508, Reiner, 482. Same story in the other series as well. These two are really becoming combatants here, Jared.
Yeah, they are. And, I've watched, you and Barron talk about the truck series. When I'm upstairs, drinking my my nightcap. But, it's been exciting to watch the racing, right? And the same kind of battling has been going on here in the Alive Church Xfinity Series on Sunday nights. But, Dean, you look at this racetrack, there is an opportunity for Bryce Reiner to get some points, but he's going to have some bad luck for George Leal. There's only 19 guys out here tonight. He's going to have to gain, an average of about 13 points if he wants a shot to get this in two races, Dean.
Yeah, he definitely is. I mean, it's, he has to win. He has to hope for some carnage for Leal. Another guy we focus in on, how about Greg Ratliff, back in victory lane last week, Jared?
Yeah, Greg, I mean, he is a mainstay in sim racing. I mean, he's been doing it for a really long time. And, he's been a dominant force in the RGR League, right, Dean? He has been a champion in this league. He's been winning races. And, until last week, he had not won a race since July, June, the end of June, was the last time he won at Iowa Speedway. And then he comes back, gets it done last week. I mean, what a job by him. At Iowa Speedway, by the way, the last track he won at, got his win, and, got that goose egg off, and kind of got us off his back, right? Because we were always talking like, what's happened to Greg Ratliff? What's going on here? Well, Greg got his mojo back. He qualified third tonight, so, I mean, I think he's going to be a guy to watch out here at Charlotte tonight, Dean.
Yeah, he is. And the other thing about Charlotte, Jared, is everybody knows Charlotte. Everybody loves Charlotte. So some of these guys who, you may not see around the top 5 or top 3 a lot, maybe tonight's their night. I mean, we've seen it over all of our years on iRacing that Charlotte can produce some surprise, maybe victors, but also top 3s and top 5s.
Absolutely, Dean. I can't wait to get this thing started. I think it's going to be a great race. 150 laps, so it's going to be a long one.
Actually, I believe only 126 laps, Jared. I could be wrong. Hopefully I'm not wrong. I like the shorter races, Jared. But
yeah, it says 150 on the iRacing screen, so I don't know. We'll see what happens.
All right. Indeed we will. That would make it a 225-mile race. We'll find out momentarily. Right now, let's get in to tonight's starting grid. On the point, Bryce Reiner doing all he can to steal this championship away from Leal. He has a time of 30.214. Lance Ripka, buckshot, if you will be starting on the outside of row number 1. Row 2 will feature Greg Ratliff and Brian Helm. Row 3, you got Adam Recker and Claus Williams. Leal starts back in 7th position with the outside of row number 4 belonging to Paul K. Travis. Jason Jackson will start in 9th with Corey Buskirk 10th. Row number 6 is Hunt and Tony Ratliff. Toadman Todd Gilly will start 13th along with Scott Olson on the outside. You got Kane and Brantley in row number 8. Row 9 is Musial and Dibble. Graham Connolly failing to take the track here for the start of the race. So an 18-car field here tonight. A little bit to be expected. We're down to it. 2 races left in the season, Jared.
Yeah, and that's kind of bad news for Bryce Reiner. He needs more cars to be here, and bad luck obviously to happen to George Leo. But 18 cars should be a great race, Dean. And I'm going to go out here and say that this is going to be a track. You kind of allude to it. We get some surprise winners at this track. I think we're going to have one tonight, Dean.
All right. That'll be interesting to see. I mean, Helm's up there. He's been hot lately. Maybe he can do something. Wrecker, Williams up there. Paul K's been fast. We'll see what happens. Pace car leading him around, and he ducks off the track. We're ready to go green flag racing here in the Charlotte 175. Or let's make it the 225. Like you said, 150 laps here tonight.
It's going to be a long one, but a great start by Bryce Reiner. He knows he needs every point, so he wants to make sure he at least leads one lap here, Dean.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got to get that point under his belt here. Ripka trying to have something to say about that.
And Ripka rolling really nicely. Helm on the outside of Wrecker. A little bit of battle as Leo gets underneath Klaus Williams.
Yeah, battles around Ratliff there. It looked like he was underneath of Ripka, almost contact off of 4. These cars can get a little loose here in the early going, so guys are holding on. Helm up to the high side.
Ryan Helm doing a good job running that high side, but Dean, I have to wonder with this track if that high side's going to come back to bite him running it this early. But we know how Helm is. He doesn't care. He's going to go out there and try some stuff.
He is, and I enjoy that, right? You expect that out of Helm. Maybe Olsen will try and make some moves as well as maybe a few others. Like, Tony Ratliff back here in 11th. He's been known to be a big mover early on as well. Up front, Reiner starting to walk away just a little bit, setting a torrid pace. Ripka second, Ratliff and Helm, everything status quo at the front.
Top 4 doing everything they can. Jason Jackson looking a little bit underneath Klaus Williams, or is Klaus Williams looking to the outside of George Leo? I can't tell.
Yeah, hard to tell there. Williams up high, Jackson going through, so I think Jackson making the move put him up 2 spots into 7th. Our early mover here, the 86 machine.
Jackson up 2 spots. A little bit further back, Dibble. Dean, he's already up 3 spots. He's picking them off one by one and just going to the front.
I like it. Bringing those French fries right up to the booth. Oh, and he is sideways on entry there. Holy cow. The 94 almost losing it. That allows the Toad Man to slide on through.
Dibble a little bit loose there on the high side as he moves forward. But, I want to point out, Dean, a couple cars. Look at the paints here tonight. Edward Kane, I don't know 100% if this is what this is, but it looks like an old Combos car that was ran. I mean, Kyle Busch ran one, but not quite like that. But there was one in the 90s, I believe. Bobby Hamilton ran it.
I think it's the old mac and cheese car, isn't it?
Yeah. It might be. It might be like an Easy Mac car. I remember the paint. I could be off on the people. But great paint there. I just wanted to point that one out there on Edward Kane.
Yeah, awesome looking paints as always up front. Now Ripka to the bumper of Bryce Reiner. So Reiner, a couple of quick laps, but everybody back, accordion back together. I know we want to say Corsentina back together, but yeah, good racing up front here. It's a long race, Jared. I mean, these guys got to pace themselves. Fuel mileage, I'm guessing around 60 laps. You can't do a one-stopper here tonight, so there'll be 2 stops for these guys.
Yeah, I think 2 stops is a minimum. I can't imagine. You're not going to stretch to a 1 stop. You can't do 75 laps. That's a 0% chance of that happening, unless there's some assistance.
Now, have we ever said that before, Jared? Have we ever said it's a 0% chance only to see someone do it?
Yeah, I mean, we have seen it done, but unfortunately, our resident field saver, Jason Spear, not in the race tonight. So, I feel confident saying there's never a 0% chance, but there is less than a 1% chance for sure.
Yeah,
and it's Ripka battles for the lead.
Yeah, he goes for the lead. Olsen back behind him way down the track. I can't keep my eyes on that as Ripka battles for the lead.
Reiner trying to hang on the outside, but I think he kind of let in. He saw a little bit of gap there, Dean, and wanted to slide in before Greg Ratliff started to come forward. But boy, I'll tell you what Bryce Reiner doesn't want to hear is George Leo picking up another spot underneath Adam Recker here off turn 2.
Yeah, I think Leo's going to be really good here tonight behind him. Jackson and Recker going at it. Jackson with the preferred line, in my opinion, and he does surge forward. Recker battling on the outside. Claus Williams looking to fill that gap as well.
And Claus Williams, he won a couple weeks back at Talladega. Actually, it's probably like about 4 weeks back, but Claus doing a great job here tonight, definitely getting himself up there, and he can race good, man. I mean, he is a guy you cannot sleep on. Claus Williams, he'll sneak around, and he might be the surprise winner tonight.
He very well could be. You see there's Leal, Helm just in front of him, trying to find his bearings. Ratliff in front of him. Those two have been in that third and fourth hole since the start. Ripka has gained the lead, and Ripka saw Ratliff get out and get it back into victory lane. You think he thought, hey, maybe it's about time old Buckshot stepped up here too.
Yeah, Lance Ripka, I mean, he is the champion of the full season schedule and the summer dash, or I could be remiss to remember the exact name of the championship they did in the summer that was kind of in conjunction with the full season. But Ripka, didn't matter how many races were involved, he was the dominant guy, Dean, in that series. But, the only thing I will say is he has only one win in the Winter Series. He won at Auto Club back in November. So that is, we're getting on 3 months since Lance Ripka's tasted victory lane. Yeah,
and the longer it goes, Jared, the harder it gets. I'm on a personal, I think, 5-year streak or something. I mean, I don't even remember what victory lane is anymore.
Yeah, well, no, you're speaking to the choir, dude.
That's why we're in the booth, Jared.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Looking at this race, it's getting very single file, and I'm a little bit surprised. I kind of expected, a little bit, we're seeing some passing. There's not any not passing, but I'm a little bit surprised we're not seeing a little bit of groove moving a little bit here.
Yeah, I mean, you do see there, it's like Buskirk goes underneath a Polke, and whoa, he's washing up the track. Holy cow. That was close.
Might have. Oh, and Dibble's wrecking going through the roval part of the front straightaway, but that's all turfed off. He is able to hold on to it, but boy.
That is suicide, Jared. He hits that little opening on pit road, and he is stuck in the wall. Night over for George Dibble.
Wow, I thought he had that thing saved, but that's just some bad luck. Just caught oh my goodness, he really did smash that thing. Tough break for George.
Very tough. Ripka leading, extending to about a half second over Ratliff. Reiner hanging in there in third, trying to be patient. Helm trying to, along with Leal, both trying to push forward. Jackson as well. He's our big mover on the night.
Yeah, Jackson up 3 spots. Scott Olsen up 3 spots up to 11th. And then we have Leal up 2, and that's it. Everybody else really moving up 1. Going the opposite direction. Adam Recker down 3, Dean. So a little bit of a tough break for Recker so far here tonight.
Let's hop on board, Jared, with Scott Olsen there. Just tell me what you... Oh, boy, too late. We're wrecking on board with Olsen. Holy cow.
He went for a wild ride off turn 4 and several cars involved.
You talk about a broadcaster's curse there. I put it on him there. My goodness. Well, let's go here first. It seems we have Edward Kane involved as well. So here is the 21. And there's Olsen a little ahead of him. So Olsen up the track. Here comes Kane right into Olsen. The Toad Man right into the door as well. That was violent. The Toad Man will be done, as will Olsen. The Toad Man trying to...
This, Dean, it looks like to me, I think there was a netcode contact between him and Tony Ratliff. They did not touch on my screen, but there was a point where Olsen's car just jumped about a half lane up and just did a weird jolt. So I don't know if he caught a bump or if there was some netcode contact there, but he got shot in the wall by something.
Well, let's go quarter speed here as we look at Olsen on the high side. Tony Ratliff down low. Olsen seems to be holding up there quite well. Ratliff trying to hold the bottom. And yeah, Olsen's car went away, or there was some slight netcode. You're exactly right. That looked like the netcode there. Threw him up the track into the wall. That is really unfortunate there for him.
Yeah.
And for others, a Kane with that hard lick, and the Toad Man, wow, sends him for a ride. We were on board for that ride, Jared.
Yeah, I just had gotten on just to see the sky. So yeah, battle off pit road too, Dean. Greg Ratliff beating Bryce Reiner off pit road just by a little bit, and George Leal gaining a spot on pit road as well.
All right, so a little shifting around on pit road. Looks like Wrecker might have been the loser on pit road there. Not sure about that, but he's currently in 9th position.
He did lose one spot from where he came in, so down 4 now. If our scoring pylon updates that to stay at 9th.
Rachel Hunt comes out in 12th. Brantley in 13th. Musial 14th. So a couple of these guys might have a little damage on their vehicles, Jared. Early carnage. We're already down to like 14 cars here.
Yeah, I was about to say we're losing drivers and we're losing points if you're Bryce Reiner, because everyone that drops out is a spot that George Leal is guaranteed, and there's going to be a point in time where we're going to get to a spot where there's no more points that Reiner can gain, and he's needing everybody to show up and be in to help him out to try to have an opportunity. But yeah, we got heavy damage on Dibble's car. I'd say he's done after that soiree with the pit wall there. Todd Gilly, I think he's probably done. That roof was ripped off of that thing, and Olsen heavy damage. Kane did come back out though, Dean, but he does have a lot of damage on the right side of that car.
No hood, and he's crab walking. That's not looking healthy there.
No.
I was thinking about it, Jared, and I got a little, advanced mathematics is what I'm going to call it. It's not mathematics by any means. But, these guys, when you're racing for championships, really, you got to consider those last 3 or 4 races. Cars start to not show up. Aggression might ratchet up for some guys looking for wins and stuff. And you're not going to be able to make up points at the same level you are weeks 1 through, say, 6.
No, I mean, on average, this series has been getting about 25 guys. So, if we don't get that next week, I mean, this thing is a wrap coming out of here tonight. We could crown champions. The pace car pulls off, and Ripka's going to lead him down, Dean.
All right, here they come to the starter. Flagman waiting. Green flag drops. Flagman a little slow on the uptake there, but he'll get her done. Leal trying to make a move on underneath of Helm.
Ratliff's going to get that spot back. Reiner's going to get that spot back from Ratliff, as Ratliff's a little bit slow on the gun there. Leal is looking underneath Ratliff off of turn number 2, and there's a little bit of tension there. Klaus Williams coming through as well. Yeah,
these guys not holding back here, trying to take advantage of this restart.
Yeah, Greg Ratliff did not get going on the outside at all. He's going to slide in front of Klaus Williams. Klaus cut him a little bit of a break there, but he did not get going, and it really ratcheted up that outside line and made a lot of people jump forward. But Leal already up to 3rd place, Dean. This is not what Bryce Reiner wants.
It is not. And wow, Helm with a big corner through 1 and 2 on the high side, Jared. I know that's something you think can work, but usually later in the run, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, Helm's been running up there most of the run at the top. A little bit loose off turn 4, though, as he gets to the back of Ratliff. Had nowhere to go there as Helm is trying. I mean, he's just putting, I think Brian is like, hey, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I'm out here to win. I'm, 20th in points. Like, it doesn't matter to me. I'm out here to win, and I'm out here to put on a show, and he's doing it for us.
Good racing. Helm looking to make a move down on the bottom.
Ratliff going to wrap the high side there, and there's Klaus Williams. He's kind of lurking in the background as Ratliff is going to slide in behind Brian Helm. So Ratliff has gotten pretty much jumped on this restart, Dean. He came out second, and he's already back to fifth. So it's just not a good restart, and he hasn't really gotten himself back together yet.
No, he really hasn't. I mean, could have other thoughts, though, Jared. Around lap 20, they went green. That's 130. We're getting closer to a one-stop. I mean, fuel mileage around 60 laps. Maybe a few of these guys thinking about extending it to lap 65.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, there could be some other thoughts there for sure. There could be some fuel mileage thoughts, maybe some tire saving thoughts, maybe stretch this thing out, try to get him on the back end. Oh, Klaus Williams loose in turn one. He holds on to it. My goodness gracious, what a job by Klaus, but it's going to stack everybody up behind him.
Well, great job by Klaus, but credit Jason Jackson there. He's seen it, and he moved up the track and gave him room. That's a smart move by Jason Jackson.
Yeah, all credit there to Jason for not getting into it because he was there. I mean, had to take evasive action. And he didn't really lose that much time as Greg Ratliff was only about 2 or 3 tenths ahead of Jackson. But good job by Williams to keep that thing under control because we could have lost a few more guys in that one.
Again, Helm surges through the center part of 1 and 2 on the high side. He's really found some grip in that center part of the corner, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely grip there. I just have concerns on the long run, like how that is Bryce Reiner may have hit the wall, and Helm may have hit the wall coming off turn 4.
I'm pretty sure Helm did, because Leal went back around, no problem there. Ripka out here extending, and you watch Ripka here, Jared. He is running your traditional line. He's putting those lefts on the paint through 1 and 2.
Yeah, and in my opinion, that's what you have to do. You have to use the paint at this track. It's, in my opinion, especially in 3 and 4, because the car just gets a lot tighter. It's a lot tighter radius than 1 and 2 entry-wise. So it's a little bit harder to get the car to kind of rotate through there, whereas 1 and 2, you can open that up a little bit. You can enter narrow. There's a little bit more option there. There's Jason Jackson on the paint. He gets loose underneath Ratliff.
Yeah, and there goes Ratliff around him, and that's what happened. That's the danger of the paint. It's a fine line, isn't it, Jared?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you get on that paint and you hit the gas at the wrong time, or you clip the apron, yeah, you're going to be in for a bad time.
Really, really well. Looking on Jackson, there's Williams behind him. Paul Kay, right where he started, in 8th position. Corey Buskirk now in 9th. Wrecker has fallen. Does this surprise you? The 11 down 5 spots right now.
Well, I think, honestly, I was kind of watching Adam throughout that whole first sequence, and I think he was just being a little bit conservative. I mean, this is a very clean group of guys. They don't usually put, you in a bad spot. There's a lot of give and take in this league, but I think Adam kind of gave a lot more than a lot of other people there, and I just wonder if he's going to be able to get back up there because Adam had a great run when we were back here in May racing. He finished in 3rd spot. We interviewed him. Talked to him. I mean, had a great race, had a chance to win this race, and he's sitting back in 10th place. So I think he's now just going to have to figure out how to get back through this field.
All right, so it's still Ripka out in front. Lead still at a half second. Reiner pacing him here. Leal's in 3rd, so go figure, Jared. Reiner and Leal are back to back.
Yeah, and that's the crazy part is just how close these guys have been all year. But the one time they weren't was the opening race of this season, Dean. This is, you want to talk about a hole. Bryce Reiner finished in 21st back in the opening race at Auto Club. George Leal finished 3rd. That's 18 points difference, Dean. 18 points. He's 26 points ahead. I mean, we're talking about a totally different championship. It was the very first race of the championship, Dean.
Well, and guys will tell you when you ask them about championship, it's too early to think about that. It's never too early to think about it, Jared.
No, not in this case. It's not, and that's going to haunt him. That bad, getting involved in that wreck late in that race. I mean, when he was running the top 5, and that's the difference. right there, really, at the end of the day in this championship is Brian Helm battling on the outside of Greg Ratliff.
Yeah, Ratliff making that pass there, Jared. It looks like that grip going away for the 46 already on that high line.
And Jackson's going to get in there. Klaus Williams is smelling blood in the water.
Yeah, that line just not functioning the same right now. He is fading quick. He's got to make the adjustment, Jared. You got to change those lines up, and he does. He goes to the bottom.
Now what can Jason Jackson do there? Helm is a little bit tight, couldn't get down to the apex there at all. The car kind of drifting up. Jackson's going to have to run off the corner. I don't know if Helm's going to be able to stick with him. He's not.
So early trouble, the 46, fast through the field, moving fast back through the field. Now Williams and Paul K. Travis set their sights on him. Up front, it's all status quo. Look for someone towards the back. We go back to Tony Ratliff, the back of this group, then Hunt, Brantley, and Musial. Can one of these guys extend, this pit stop and make it to, I don't know, let's say lap 85 at least?
Yeah, they're going to have to really stretch it, but I think if I'm back there, if I'm Jacob Musial or Jason Brantley kind of off the back a little bit, instead of just trying to stay with the group, I would just be clutching, using a little bit of saving a little gas and just see where things shake out a little bit, right?
Well, you certainly can do that here. If you lift early or clutch it early into both corners, around lap 20, you should be doing roughly the same speed as the leaders. So you lose some early, gain some late, and save a ton of gas. Good racing here, lap 34 of 150. Couple of early incidents that took a few guys out of this race. Lance Buckshot Ripka out front, looking to return to victory lane. I think you said he has one win on the season, but normally he has 4 or 5 by this point.
Yeah, he won the opening race at Auto Club. So, he started off the year hot and then has just not had really the runs I think he's wanted to have. He's obviously, missed some races here and there, but, he's had a couple second places, but even then, it's been back in December that he had his last second place finish. So I think Ripka's wanting to get a good run, but, we talk about the casualties. Edward Kane officially gone. Todd Gilly officially out of the race. George Dibble officially out. And so is Scott Olson, although he is still on pit road. He still has the opportunity to come back out, but he is many, many, many laps down at this point. So down to 14 cars running.
We just looked in and seen Klaus Williams again, a little loose on exit. Last time a little loose, brushed the wall. Now, Jared, is this car going to continue to get looser, or do we have a tight loose condition here?
I think it's a tight loose. You have to be really finicky with your steering at this track and this setup. I did a race in the daytime, but this setup invites you to use your tires and be fast and use the throttle and all these things. It wants you to do that, and if you buy into that, you're going to develop a very tight loose position because the car doesn't want to turn into turn 3 very well unless you really back it down and you're cognizant of that. And then as you get into the corner in turn 1 and 2, the car just wants to steer, and you have all the steering in the world, and it just snaps on you. So you've got to be careful with buying into what the setup's giving you.
Now let's take a ride around with George Leal here, see what we can figure out here. It looks to me like the car is a little tight, having a little trouble getting down to that painted line, Jared.
Yeah, let's drop on board. Jumping into turn number 3 here is Leal doing a great job through that corner. You can see just holding that wheel steady. Hold a pretty wheel through the corner for George Leal. Off the corner, doesn't really get back into the corner, right? He's very, very methodical about how he's exiting that corner a little bit there, which is very good. And it'll help him out in the long run. But as you continue to go through the corner, again, gets down to that stripe, using that a little bit. He's gaining just a little bit of time there as we're on board with Bryce Reiner.
Yeah, that was George Leal actually for me. Reiner for you maybe. Same line though. These guys both doing the same type of thing, Jared. Great race car drivers. And this is, I said he was struggling to get down there. I think that was just one entry. He really is getting down there. And that's what you need to do around this place. I mean, I absolutely love this place.
Yeah, he's. I should say he was catching Bryce Reiner off the corners when we were on board George Leal. So my mistake there.
10-4. So Ripka leading, but the lead coming down as Reiner and Leal are reeling them in. Ratliff right there along with Jackson, Helm, and Williams. And Helm seems to have found his way now too. That early high side action looked like he was hurt. Now he's back in the groove.
Helm starting to get back together here. And you know, you look at the top four. I mean, Ripka opened up that gap, but it is coming down. It's down to 0.3 of a second to Bryce Reiner, who has Leal on him by about 0.2. And then you have Greg Ratliff in the picture as well, who's kind of recovered from his bad restart.
Mellow out a little bit here on lap 42. Everybody finding their own spot. Now, oh, I know Paul K. Travis up into the wall. He's going to save that thing, but he's got heat around him. Buskirk's through, Wrecker's through.
And right as you said that, I thought you were watching the Clash as a car got spun on the Clash. Right as you said that, I was like, wow, what is Dean watching the real race?
I do dual commentary, Jared. I do it all.
Brian Helm back to the high side, working, trying to stay in front of Klaus Williams. He was in front of him, but Klaus got underneath of him.
What I'm seeing here, Jared, and Helm's a good example, but several of these cars are, like Williams, like Buskirk, is I'm seeing a lack of consistency, right? A couple of good laps followed by maybe one bad lap. And these bad laps, they hurt you worse than your 2 or 3 good laps help you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the problem with this this track is you have to be so consistent, and you have to be so on a kind of the setup is not on a knife's edge. The thing about it is it invites you to overdrive, as I was talking about earlier, and because of that, you have to be so on a mental knife edge to not overdrive the car.
Vance Ripka out here leading. Reiner chasing. He cannot shake Leal, though. Leal hanging around about a half second behind Reiner. Behind that, you got Wrecker making a move on Helm. He'll complete that pass. Watch out for the Columbia machine.
Yeah, it's you know, everybody's really getting single file now, Dean, and that's kind of the nature of Charlotte in this car, right? You know, Scott Olsen does return to the track to try to scalp some points off some guys that are retired, but you know, you look at it and there's some battles, but like they're not quite in the position of battle as Adam Wrecker gets underneath Brian Helm to move back up another spot.
Yeah, the battle is between man, machine, and track, not so much the other cars. I mean, back in the day it was. We had a lot of two-wide racing here at Charlotte, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, I remember some great two-wide battles, and I think it's just the nature of the setup and how the car is and things like that that just make it a little bit more difficult than maybe we're used to. Right now, Dean, you know, I'm looking up front, and Bryce Reiner is cutting that lead down. It's you know, hundreds or even thousands, but he is cutting it down just a little bit. Let's see what these lap times are as they go across. Ripka just a little bit quicker, 0.6 of a second quicker, as they're starting to open up the gap on George Leal, who is solidly right now in third position.
Sorry about that, Jared. Little phone interruption there.
Just you know, just kind of you know, observing the lead as Bryce Reiner has disappeared from my screen.
Yeah, that was thankfully temporary there from Reiner. That could have been bad. So Leal in third, Greg Ratliff in fourth, Jackson up 4 spots. How about Jason Jackson? I mean, is this a man get up here and contend for this thing here tonight, Jared?
I look at Jason Jackson throughout the year as a guy that's improved since we've first saw him. He hasn't been on the podium yet in this league, but boy, he has come so close to getting some podiums, to getting some wins. I think it's right around the corner for him, and he's improving a lot by, learning that long run management. And you're seeing it tonight kind of sneak in here as he's up 4 spots and doing good lap times. He is just about a tenth slower than Ratliff, but not too bad otherwise.
And you see him move up the track. This is something, or Williams, sorry, moving up the track. This is something we see from Williams a lot, and I like this as opposed to, say, what we've seen from Helm doing it early in the run, Jared. It's a little more wear on the track there, and he seems to have it maybe just in 1 and 2. He's trying that higher line. You see there, loose off of 4.
Continues to battle this group, and you see, as that's going on, Dean, Reiner just took a 10th out of Ripka that last lap. So Ripka maybe feeling a little bit of the heat.
Yeah, I mean, who would have thought about this a year ago or so, that Ripka, the long run guy, could be run down. But Reiner and Leal have mastered the long run so well these days. I mean, you think Reiner is going to come up here now and battle with Ripka, but Leal in another 10 or 15 laps probably going to come up and battle both of them.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Leal right now, he's a 4,000th slower than Reiner, but Reiner, again, another 10th out of Ripka, and like we've talked about all season long, watching these cars in this series, I mean, a 10th, once you get to about 2/10 to a 1/10 and a half, it becomes harder to make up that last little bit, and that's going to allow Leal to get back involved in this because he is able to still run those lap times that they were running. See right there, Ripka up to an 0.90, Reiner a 1:46, Leal an 0.46. So Leal, as you were talking about, Dean, he's going to invite himself back to this battle because it's so hard with the dirty air to get around him.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. That's what I was going to ask you about, is maybe to elaborate on the dirty air and just what it does to the car, Jared.
Yeah, in this car, what happens early in the run, you feel tighter. As the run goes on, you don't notice as much, but you just notice that you stall out really heavily, and what it is actually doing is it is wearing out the tires a lot more than you anticipate. We've done some experiments on the team side and to figure this stuff out, but on the fixed setup side, you just feel like you're not gaining anything, and the car is slow, and maybe it's tight, maybe it's loose, but it's really not because you're right behind somebody. The car is just stalled out, and you're just not able to get that air on the nose, which is really just affecting it in the corners.
All right, so the battle heating up. Ripka leading, trying to hold them off about 35 laps into this run, so they got a ways to go on these tires still, depending on their strategy. Leal now closing in, lurking in third. We're going to have a serious battle coming up.
Yeah, Dean, I was going to ask you, you've been involved in some championships in your time and everything. You've been the chase, you've been the chasee. How do you feel like if you're in George Leal's spot? I mean, are you still hungry to go out there and win, even though you feel like you've got things kind of locked down as far as the championship goes? Do you still have that hunger, that desire to get up here and win?
I mean, Jared, it's like this. Be pre-race. You tell yourself over and over again, 3rd place, 5th place, even 7th place is fine. Don't do it. Don't put your car in jeopardy. Don't make any moves. Well, it takes a while, like about 2 laps, Jared, before the racer comes forth and you say, heck, throw that out the window. I'm going to go win this thing. So you just can't help yourself is the answer, Jared.
And then I wanted to flip that around and in Bryce Reiner's shoes, you don't have that. You have to go out and get everything, right?
Well, right. Reiner's got to have everything, but he's only racing Leal, right? So it's really weird because Leal's either not going to race at all, which clearly that's not the case, But Reiner, on the other side, he has to win. He needs every bonus point he can get. And don't forget, there's bonus points for no incidents as well, I believe. So,
Right.
these guys got to do things clean, but the pressure is all on that 14. And he is racing. He's trying to win the race, and at the same time, he knows Leo behind him is being somewhat conservative, waiting for that long run. I mean, he's in a real bind here. At the 14, I mean, it's all on his shoulders here.
Yeah, it is.
And the other thing is, you got 3 guys this close, this late to the opening. Pit stops are coming up, in a bit. And that's where the race is going to be won and lost. You spend so much time, I'll speak for myself, I spend so much time on my racecraft and practicing a track and getting prepared, doing long runs, doing short runs, heck, hot lapping and figuring it out. You often forget what's the most important thing is to practice those pit entries, especially in a league like this where green flag stops are inevitable. I mean, how many times have we talked about it here, Jared? We had the likes of, I don't know, Darren Bruce was one of the best pitters. Then there was, Ward was a great pitter. We've had many that have been labeled as the best pit stop guy, but they work at it. I race with Darren to this day, and he always does, maybe 20 attempts on entry during practice.
Yeah, Darren, very good. I mean, we've had so many guys come through that were so good on getting on and off pit road, and that's where you make up some time. And there's an opportunity, and you see right now, watching this lead, Reiner hasn't been able to figure out how to get down Ripka, and I feel like Leal is just kind of hanging out in that zone, just kind of like waiting and biding his time. We've seen him do this all season long. He wants Reiner to go up there and race Ripka, and he's going to go in there and pick up the scraps here in about 10 laps.
He really is. I mean, this is where I like to be. I like to be in that Leal spot. I mean, I prefer actually to be in Ripka's, but, when I'm in George Leal's spot, I'm quite content. I'm happy. I'm actually saving tire back here. I'm lifting early. I'm using the draft when I can to kind of keep me in touch with these guys, and I'm just waiting for either a mistake or for them. And here it is. Well, I thought it was. Reiner looked like he had a run.
Reiner does have a run. I think he's going to stick it in here, Dean. I think he's done waiting around. Ripka's going to open up the door just a little bit. Reiner can't quite get there. Ripka had to take a little bit different entry. I wonder if that's going to affect him off the corner.
It does. It did. And also, this is what Leal wants, right? Do it again, boys. This is making George Leal happy. He's coming back in that 51.
Reiner barely got to Ripka there in the corner, tight underneath of him. Ripka doing a good job holding him down, but giving him space. But he's wide. He's a little bit too wide through the dog leg. I would have liked to see him run a little bit lower down.
Greg Ratliff, pit road. Oh, and Klaus Williams speeding almost certainly, Jared, for the 16 machine.
Reiner to the lead as that's going on. Leal sniffing around for second place now.
So Ratliff, Williams, and Paul K. Travis hit pit road. Our leaders, 3 of them, nose to tail, battling it out.
So Reiner, the thing is, Dean, Ripka has led, I don't know the exact tally, but I think he's led 50 laps at this point. So I think Reiner, he's wanting that extra bonus point for most laps led, so he needs to get back up there. The record,
Pit
Jackson,
stops
and
happen.
Hunt.
Yeah, Brantley, Buskirk also in. So our leaders got decisions to make, Jared. Who's going to be the first to jump to pit road? And I missed that pass, apparently, with those pit stops. So, right, like you said, Reiner out front. Holy cow.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if I'm Bryce Reiner, you let these 2 guys behind you pit, and you try to stay out as long as you can, man. I don't think there's any other kind of situation you want to be involved in.
Yeah, but that's generally your strategy at every track, is it not?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I like the short pit. I mean, Barron's kind of convinced me of it. He's a short pit guy. You're a long pit guy. I definitely, I believe in doing something different than the guy I need to beat. That's it. So Leal's going to stay out here, and he is going to gauge himself off of Reiner, I believe. He'll probably do 1 lap longer than Reiner will.
All right, so here's 2 things about the undercut. that I don't
Here we
like.
go. Okay.
I have seen guys get better positions than they should have by undercutting. I have also seen the overcut. I think the overcut is easier in general as Leo goes by Ripka for second place. But the problem that I have with the undercut is two things. One, you have to manage your stuff. If you overdrive just a little bit, you are going to be done at the end of the run, and you're just going to get run over by everybody and lose those positions you may have had with the overcut.
Right, but look who you're talking about, Jared. Reiner. Anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Hold on. Second thing is when you pit, you're going to have, depending on when you undercut, you're going to have to work your way through traffic a lot on the front side of your pit. So you're going to have to use your stuff up earlier in the run to try to get by people that aren't for position. Like you're traveling through the field. And the third reason is if a caution comes out, that strategy is toast, and you are toast in the race.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you only one. I'm going to give you only one example of why the overcut kind of bothered me after a while, and his name is Bobby Terrell. Okay, we bring him up once in a while. I know he's not from this league, but some of our viewers will know him. If you don't, just know he's George Leal. I mean, basically, he's George Leal. So what would happen is he would go into the pits first. I would overcut him, and I would be about 6 seconds behind, and I'd run him down to about 2 seconds and couldn't catch him. It was the most frustrating thing I've ever been through. I did it about 100 times, Jared, and I've since maybe changed my strategy a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up some really good points, Dean. I'm not going to lie to you. I just, in my experience, there's just a lot more variables by doing the undercut.
Yeah, I mean, both are valid. I mean, that's where I fall down on it. But one thing I don't like is just doing what everybody else is doing. So these top three, I think someone's got to switch it up here. We're on lap 71 of 150. Fuel mileage, around 60 laps. Guys can probably extend that slightly. So, I mean, I don't like these guys are all doing the overcut here if we're talking about 2 pit stops.
Well, I think if you're Reiner, Leal, and Ripka, it's not so much doing the overcut. It's more about like a chess move, right? You're trying to figure out when the next one's going to pit or when the guy's going to pit. Nobody wants to flinch first. Like they're not. I mean, no offense to anybody else on the field. They're not worried about 4th place at this point. These top three have left them behind.
I mean, that's what, like the guy at the back has the best chance of sneaking in. So Ripka would have the best chance to sneak in unnoticed. But let's be realistic. These guys are great. They're going to notice if any one of these 3 pits.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think right now you're just trying to feel it out and try to see where things shake out. We have 5 guys that have not pitted yet. That is Musial, who's about 20 seconds behind this group. You have Brian Helm, who's about 8.5 seconds behind, and then you have Ripka, Leal, and Reiner on your screen. Everybody else a lap down, which is another key component. If we do get a caution at some point in time in this little run here, some of these good drivers are going to be caught in a lap down. And by the way, Dean, when you're talking about pit road entry, Klaus Williams did not get a speeding ticket.
All right, then he came in real hot, real aggressive, and did a great job. I said most certainly. I didn't say certainly. So
I just want to follow up on that.
No, it's a great follow-up because I thought for sure, Jared, if you go back, I mean, you got a chance. Maybe you can go look at it, but it looked to me like he came in there real hot. He was locking him up a little sideways. I mean, and here we go. So Reiner comes in first to start it.
Ripka late. Holy cow, Ripka late. If he didn't speed, I don't know. Holy cow.
That was amazing there. Ripka wanted to follow him in. He did that. Leal stays out as expected. He's striving for a championship. He can do this. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs another 1 or 2 or 3 laps here before he comes in.
Wow, those are synchronized pit stops there by Reiner and Ripka. I mean, they hit the box at the same time, and the cars went up at the same time. This is going to be a tight race off pit road between these two.
All right, let's get down there and have a look here. They're both down and away. Reiner out in front, but surging. Ripka battling on the outside. A race off a pit road. It's Ripka.
What a job by Lance Ripka. I thought that he wanted that. He felt I saw a little bit of energy out of Ripka there. He really got off pit road good, but Reiner is going to be right there, Dean, coming off pit road.
Well, he is. Is that a penalty, though? Did he come up early? That would be huge. I mean, I think he was all right.
That was close. I mean, I've gotten penalized for less. We'll see.
Well, that's when I was the admin. I give you a penalty just for fun, Jared.
Well, okay, that might have been what it was. Boy, that could be the race. That could be the race right there. That battle right there. I mean, we're gonna have one more pit stop, but
so here's the thing with the overcut, right? Right now, Leal is on pit road. Kind of missed his entry, but he looks like he's on safe. New race leader, Greg Ratliff. Adam Recker will move to second. Williams into third. Jackson into fourth. I mean, these guys are going to have to come up here and battle with these guys because they did the overcut, Jared.
Yeah, you know, you're going to get it both ways, right? You're going to get the battling either way, but man, Leo coming off pit road, look at how much time that undercut is going to gain on Leo, because there's Leo. He's going to have to go through Rachel Hunt, who's a lap down. I think Paul K. Travis also back there. He'll have to get his way through as well.
Oh, Brantley, Buskirk going around. I mean, Leo has slipped down to 11th place, but make no mistake, this is part of his plan here, you know, and he is. All he has to do is finish in the top 10, Jared, to have a great shot at the championship next week.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and keep Reiner in his sights also. But, man, Ratliff now 2.5 seconds ahead of Adam Recker. Klaus Williams 3.5 back. Jason Jackson another 4 seconds behind Klaus Williams. And then you have Ripka and Reiner, who are about 2 seconds behind Jason Jackson right now.
All right, so Ratliff out here. He's got a nice lead. We'll see how long he holds that. There's Recker and Williams and Jackson. And now these two battling. Reiner's got to be shooting himself here. He did not want to be behind of Ripka, but I think he would have ended up there anywhere. I think that, you know, Ripka's more willing to drive a little harder, a little earlier these days than Reiner is. As Brian Helm just set the best lap of the race.
Right there, I think going off pit road, I think Reiner was going to be conservative. He wanted to have a nice, clean exit. I think Ripka was like, I'm not racing for anything but winning. I'm going to go aggressive, and I'm going to make him either give me the spot or we're going to race through the apron. And Reiner didn't have much of a choice there, Dean.
Yeah, he really didn't. So these guys closing up. They're about a second behind Jackson, and another 5, 6, 7 seconds up to the lead. So it's going to be a battle for Ripka and Reiner along with Leal. Leal already closing in. He gets around Hunt. So Leal is flying. He's got the freshest rubber. Holy cow, the 51 doing it again.
Yeah, he has a 2-lap tire advantage on Ripka and Reiner, and that doesn't seem like a lot, but there is a fall-off point at this track, and you do reach them at a certain time, just about. So, I mean, it's going to be close here. I think Leal is going to be in the catbird seat.
He is. I mean, you just reminded me of that old great Boston Celtics call when Bird had made a shot, and he's saying, "He did it again! He did it again!" I don't know if anybody's seen that, but it's a classic.
Absolutely, 100% agree.
So Ratliff there's Recker, Williams, now Ripka making his move. Here comes Reiner. They both come around Jackson, move them up to 4th and 5th. Past the halfway mark here. Lap 83 of 150. It's the Charlotte 225 here in the Alive Church Xfinity Series. Live fully alive. You know, that gets harder and harder, Jared, the older I get. I'm about 80% alive right now.
80%? I mean, that's better than 0%.
It is. You know, and I just want to give a little shout out too to, you know, Bernard Person out there. I hope he's okay and doing well. I know he's been struggling lately, and we haven't heard from him in a few days. So, you know, our prayers go out, and hope everything's good with him.
Absolutely. Echo that 100%. Bernie, great guy. Fun to be around. Hope everything's good with him, and can't wait to talk to him again.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of people struggling here at this time of year. So, stick with it. Live fully alive, as they say. And, get out there, Jared. Stop watching politics. Go out. If you're in the snow, go out in that. If not, go see the birds and the trees and all of that wonderful stuff. It's a wonderful world out there.
Absolutely. Can't agree with that more, Dean. And, it's been fun. I mean, we've had a fun winter season with these guys here at the Alive Church Sunday Xfinity Series, and I think we're heating up for a race that we're going to remember going into next year.
Yeah, absolutely. There's Corey Buskirk. He's behind Helm. That's 10th and 11th. Brantley back in 12th position right now. He's up 4 spots, rocking that East Coast web printers machine. Love that car, sharp looking. Tony Ratliff back in 13th. A little bit of a surprise for Tony here. I thought Tony would have a good night tonight, but maybe that car not agreeing with him. Maybe we missed something that happened to him. You got Musial back here in 14th. He's up a few spots as well, and he's got Ripka and Reiner bearing down on him here.
Absolutely. This race
and Musial
continues.
Way up the wall there, Jared. Sorry to cut you off, brother.
Well, I have no idea where I was going, so you're good.
So Ripka and Reiner continuing to work forward. Here comes Leal by Musial now. So Leal already closing in, and I can already tell, Jared, it's going to be a net gain for that 51 on that overcut that you love. Here goes Reiner underneath of Williams.
Continue to battle. And you look at this as you see Klaus Williams get passed by those guys. Right now, that gap, we said about 9 seconds a few laps ago, Dean, and it is down to 3.5 seconds now.
It's crazy. I mean, it's coming down in a hurry. I mean, Greg's out there like he stole something trying to run away, and the cops are coming, and it's hard to hold them off, Jared.
And Leo gets under Williams pretty quickly.
Yeah, there is Leo clearing Williams by a good 3-4 car lengths as he heads down into 1. Reiner continuing to stalk the 52 of Ripka.
And this is the battle, right? This is the battle that we've been kind of following all night. But let's not short sell yet. If I'm going to take some stock, let's not short sell Greg Ratliff. He is on a totally different strategy than these guys. We'll have to see how things go with how this thing plays out. But there could be some opportunity for somebody like Adam Recker. I talked about at the beginning that I thought tonight we could have a surprise winner. Could Recker get his first win? I mean, there is some opportunity here for these guys on this other strategy to maybe have some things kind of come back in their favor as this race goes on.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, right now it looks like Ripka, Reiner, and Leal are going to come around here in a few laps, but that's not done yet. And, caution could come out, Jared. And don't forget, these guys are going to do this strategy on the next pit stop. They're going to have another 20 lap or so where they're ahead of everybody. Any caution will flip this thing on its head. That's another downside to the overcut.
Well, let's talk about this for a second too, Dean. I like where you're going with this. It has taken, Reiner and Ripka pitted on lap 74, Leal on 76. So for the sake of easy math, we'll say they pitted on 74. Ratliff pitted on 63, Recker on 60. It has taken them, Reiner and Ripka, 20 laps to get to Recker. All right, 20 laps to get to Recker. And they still haven't passed him. They still haven't actually gotten to him. So it could be like 21, 22 before they actually get to him and make a pass, right? I mean, Ripka's going to be there, I think, this lap. But either way, let's say 20, 21 laps to get there. If they do this strategy on the second part, that overcut, there is a line where the undercut will work in this scenario if we go green, Dean, because if it takes them 20, 21 laps, they're not going to have a shot at this thing.
Yeah, I mean, let's extend this a little different. Let's take a math approach to this and say, if you're Greg Ratliff, you just got yourself 20 to 25 laps or whatever it may be in the lead where anything could happen. And, a flag could come out, you could assume the lead as Ripka goes underneath him here to take the lead back over. But how about pitting right now and making that math even better? Instead of another 20 laps on the next run, let's make it another 30 laps to increase the possibility that you might get a flag.
Well, I'm thinking, like, if I'm Greg Ratliff, I'd probably pit, and Wrecker's going to battle with him a little bit here. That could be a position, but I'm thinking if these guys haven't pitted by lap, 105, I'm coming down pit road. I think that could be a winning strategy on the undercut.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of this, right? Is the strategies. There's so many you can take. And if you're looking for a race win, if you are an Adam Wrecker back here and you're really just racing for a win as he goes by Ratliff as well, or attempts to here, they battle side by side. I mean, I love the undercut for someone like that, or maybe Ratliff or Williams. I mean, why not? Do something different, as I always say, Jared.
No, I mean, that's your motto. I mean, like, I hope you have that as a bumper sticker on your car.
Well, I do, but I use that in life, Jared, and I haven't picked well with my women because well, we'll leave it at that, won't we?
We need what was that soft rock call-in number from like the 80s and 90s? Was it I don't know if they had in Canada. Delilah? Well,
I don't know, but I like the sounds of it. Where you're going?
Yeah. I don't know. I just remember hearing it when I was a kid. And I was like, my God.
I mean, you say Delilah, I immediately go to the late night scary movies and Elvira there.
Yeah.
So Lance Ripka out here leading this thing. I mean, doing a great job. He's being hounded now by Reiner and Leal. This looks awfully familiar, but don't forget this time Leal's got a few extra laps of, less laps of tire wear on that machine. I mean, Leal, it's just so hard to beat this guy. He's got it. He can drive short run, he can drive long run. He's great on pit road. His strategy is impeccable. His defense is impenetrable. He might bite your ear. I mean, I don't know where I'm going with that here.
Well, I know where Mike Tyson went with that after that impenetrable part, and it wasn't biting ears. It was, something else. But Mike Tyson, what a guy. But anyway, right now, we talk about boxing a lot, right? And this is one of those things where you're just kind of feeling somebody out. But we're getting down into the 8th round, Dean, and somebody's going to have to start making a move soon.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the problem. Driving Charlotte here, it's very hard to make moves. You got to have a lot of patience. And we're looking at 3 of the best, right? Buckshot, Reiner, Leal. These guys are the best at this. It shows. They're out front. I mean, I don't know what you can do at this point. And outside of, let's get to pit road, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only choice. If I'm Wrecker, I'm coming in right now, Jared.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I usually don't like the undercut, but seeing it took him 21 laps to get back to him and pass him, and yes, the pass was easy, but Ratliff's not going to fight you on lap 96. He might fight you a little bit harder on lap, 150, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, to me, I think you got to come in here within the next 5 laps that these guys in front of you don't make a move, right?
Well, and you're talking about a fight too, and I don't think that's necessarily what the decision's about. It's about luck, right? It's about how do I win this race? The only shot, let's go back to Adam Wrecker, Greg Ratliff in that area. I'll be honest with you, at this point, the only true shot they've got at a win is a caution. And wherever that is, whenever that is, but they can maximize that by coming in now and having a greater chance of having a caution while they're in the lead. So, I mean, it's just very interesting. You can do all these things, but the longer you stay out, the closer you get to all the other people pitting. Here comes Rachel Hunt. So Brantley came in, now Hunt's come in. I love this for these two. They're trying something here. Lap 103 of 150.
Yeah, and I did mention earlier that Todd Gilly was out. He did actually get back on the track and repass Scott Olson for 15. So just wanted to keep everybody apprised of some battles going on the track. But Gilly did get some positions there.
And that's funny because Olson came back out initially, I think, and passed him. So
yeah,
a little pit road battle there.
Yeah, but we do have Brantley on pit road and Hunt on pit road as Brantley flies by on the outside to get one of his 2 laps back.
I mean, there's your fresh tires. Boy, they feel good, don't you?
Yeah, they're not called feel goods for nothing.
That's right. And the 3, a little bit of a wiggle there, making everybody a little nervous, but he slingshots around. Reiner right to the bumper, that 52, and that's something you can do, Jared. You get up there on the inside part of that bumper and make that car in front of you a little bit loose.
Absolutely, Dean, and I think that's really kind of part of it, right?
I mean, you go back to Bernie, who we were wishing well on. I mean, Bernie knows this about me, and he would do this to me relentlessly. Get on that bumper and harass the living daylights out of me, and it's very effective. Jason Jackson hits pit road.
Yeah, that's the big thing is, you know, Reiner's doing exactly what you're talking about, right? I mean, he has given Ripka a mirrorful at the very minimum.
Yeah, I think he's ready to make his move, Jared. I'm starting to see Reiner's starting to excel a little bit. Ripka's starting to fade a little bit. This is what we've seen during run number 1. It's just timing right now. You see there, he kind of missed his timing. He had a break on entry there a little bit. Leal just lurking, Jared. He's got fresher tires. He's just being so patient.
Klaus Williams on pit road. Didn't see the entry this time, so we don't know if it was as exciting.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. Guys pushing the limits. Corey Buskirk on pit road as well. Here comes Reiner with another big run. Can he time it a little better? He's got position here on the inside. So Bryce Reiner looking to take the lead back. Force it down onto the paint. He'll clear quite easily. Here comes Leal, shot out of a cannon. He's smelling the blood in the water. Paul K. Travis on pit road.
Yeah, and Leal underneath Ripka. Ripka not wanting to give up that spot, wants to make him fight as Paul K. Travis heads down pit road, as you said, Dean. And now, you know, I'm starting to circle, you know, some of these guys on the undercut. Like, you know, Wrecker, Ratliff, Helm. Like, can these guys come down pit road here in the next 5-10 laps, Dean, and undercut these guys into a victory? I think they can.
Well, they better do it now because we're down to 40 laps, Jared. The leaders are going to come down pit road soon. I mean, they're not going to wait to 20 to go to pit. I mean, at least they shouldn't.
Tony Ratliff on pit road. Yeah, I think there's an opportunity if you're Wrecker or Ratliff to come down pit road here in the next 5 laps. Really, this lap would be fantastic, but the next 5 laps, I think you have an opportunity. You could sneak this thing out.
Yeah, you're absolutely right because this overcut is not going to leave you. We told you 20 laps, right, Jared?
There it is.
Oh, no, caution on the track, Jacob Musial. And he's already on pit road. I don't know what happened. Let's get a replay. So anybody who undercut, I mean, they didn't have enough time. It just didn't work out quite right. But here we go, Musial all alone. That car just breaks loose in the center of the corner. Good job of not overcorrecting and coming back up, but that cost him the car as he hits the inside wall.
Yeah, he bounced back up on the track when he hit the inside wall, and that's what brought our caution out.
But good job of not he could have easily overcorrected, snapped up the track, and took some people out. Good job of holding it down there. So now, I mean, the pit stops, this changes everything. We're going to have a 40-lap shootout here now, a little different. It's, you know, these guys are saying right now to us, Jared, saying that's why I didn't pit. You know, because if I pitted and the caution come out, I'd be in a world of hurt. I mean, there's 100 different ways to look at these things. Right now, Reiner leads him down onto pit road. Leal right behind him. That's your championship battlers. Ripka there. There's Wrecker, Greg Ratliff, Brian Helm, all on pit road. Brantley comes in. He's a lap down.
Yeah, and we still have, you know, this opportunity, Dean, for some of these guys now that we're kind of out of it. Now you're back in it, and you only got 40 laps to do it.
Ripka slid through his stall, so he's going to move back some here. Reiner down and away, easily maintaining. Leal slips into second. Wrecker third. Ripka does come out in fourth. Not that bad. There's Ratliff, Helm, Jackson. Actually, Jackson coming in now. I mean, I think Jackson might have been the lucky dog there. So 7 cars on the lead lap, Jared. Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I think you're right. Is there going to be any wave rounds here? I don't know.
I mean, only if they stay out. I mean, I think Claus Williams, Rachel Hunt,
Buskirk.
maybe the Toad Man, Buskirk, you know, they're in varying degrees of problems here for these guys. They're going to need another caution. You know, they're going to get their wave around. Then they'll need a caution so they can come in and get fresh tires. But Jackson, with that lucky dog, he's got to be feeling lucky, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, he got the advantage of having that tire, using the tires on the undercut, and then also coming back in to get his lap back with that, you know, waiver or the lucky dog. But as Gilly pulls off and heads down pit road, doesn't want any part of this restart here. But man, we're gonna have 4 cars take the wave around here, and like you said, Dean, that is going to be a tough proposition. They need a quick caution.
Yeah, they really do. Williams, Hunt, Travis up there, Brantley trapped, so he's not going to get the wave around back there. But the bigger question here is, who's going to get out here? 37 laps left when we go green, I believe. I mean, we've seen these top guys are all long run guys. We've seen Leal lose spots early, Reiner lose spots early. You know, is this Wrecker's night? Someone you've been touting tonight?
You know, I don't know. I don't know. I'd love to see a new winner in this series, and I think there's a lot of talent up front to do it. But man, it's gonna be tough to beat these 3 guys we've talked about tonight: Leal, Ripka, and Reiner. I think it's gonna be tough.
All right, go over to our chat here. Edward Kane says, "Oh, it's on now." He said that was earlier, I'm sure. So pace car off the track. Here we go. Reiner and Leal, Wrecker and Ripka in row 2. Green flag down and away. Great start by Reiner. Leal, not bad, but Wrecker trying to nose underneath them. He might get there. This is going to be tough for Leal. Leal powers on the high side. Wow, what a corner by the 51. Here comes Ripka as well. So Wrecker didn't like the bottom there. He's going to fade back to 4th here. So our top 3 separate themselves. That's what they needed. That's what they've done. Leal right to the bumper of the 14.
Oh, here comes Leal for the lead, Dean. Under hit Reiner. He's going for it. He is saying, hey, I'm here for it, man. He takes it.
Unbelievable. Now Reiner surges forward on the exit. He looks to come underneath a Leal. These guys slugging it out here.
Leal had opened up that bottom. Reiner, he knows what he needs. He needs a win. He needs to beat Leal. He needs to lead laps. He needs all the above to have a shot next week. Leal almost hit the wall. If he didn't, off turn 4, side by side, I don't know who led that lap.
Nor do I. I think Leal maybe got it. But Reiner hanging in there. He bobbles a bit, hitting some bumps perhaps. Leal surges around on the outside.
Reiner, now what do? You've used up a little bit of the tire trying to stay ahead of Leal, but Leal has also used up some tire trying to stay ahead of you. Is Ripka in the catbird seat, or is it somebody else behind him?
Yeah, I mean, this is, we're down to it, Jared. There's no holding back. You've got to put that pedal down. You want a piece of this? I mean, Leo said, forget championship talk. I'm going to win. He put himself in danger battling with Reiner. I mean, he trusts him, and he should trust him, but it's still dangerous, Jared.
Yeah, and we only got 34 laps to go, coming to the line for 33. I mean, that's not a lot of time, and I think everybody knows it is, and this is where you have to start getting the money, right? You have to start giving everything you got if you want a chance at this thing. But you can hold a little bit back at the beginning of these runs and maybe have some on the backside, but that backside is very short.
Well, it is. It's around lap 20, right, Jared, before your advantage starts to come in. So,
Wrecker in the wall off turn 2. Sorry, Dean. And Ratliff almost ran to the back of him. It was very sudden, but he's going to lose a couple spots because of it.
Okay, Wrecker, the little piece of the wall going to cost him. Helm working on him now. They continue side by side.
And Ratliff very evasive action there, not to run the back of him, because he hit him. And Ratliff was only maybe a half car length behind Wrecker. So great job by Ratliff to not get in the back of him, because he had a very quick reaction to not do it.
Yeah, great job by him for sure. Here comes Jason Jackson back in 7th, along with Tony Ratliff. Tony he's actually a lap down, so forget what I was thinking there. Leal extending a little bit on Reiner. 30 to go, Jared. I mean, what are you calculating here if you're Bryce Reiner or Lance Ripka? I mean, you can't give up much more track position here.
Yeah, it's tough, right? I mean, the way I look at it, I think you have to, I don't know. I think right now you need to really try to mitigate any kind of tire damage and try to have something on the backside, because we only got 31 laps to go, or 30 laps to go there. I mean, it's going to be tough, and I think you have to start going around like lap 130 and start using a little bit of that tire that you have in reserve if you're somebody back third and back.
All right, look around. Everybody pretty status quo. Wrecker's starting to surge back a little bit on Helm. Jason Jackson and Tony Ratliff touches the wall there. Everybody's sticking on the bottom. Reiner starting to reel in Leal a little bit here.
And back behind Ripka, I mean, it is a gaggle, Dean. I don't know how many times I've used that this season. I don't feel like it's been a lot, except on some restarts. But boy, Ratliff, I mean, he had a mirror full of Helm. Helm had a mirror full of Wrecker. And Ripka had a mirror full of all of them coming off turn number 3 or turn number 4 last time.
Yeah, these guys are really giving it here. Like I said, it's about 20 laps into the run. These cars kind of change depending on how you've run them. So we're going to find out here shortly who's got what. But right now, Reiner closing back in. He needs to beat Leal. There's no two ways about that. He cannot let Leal win this race. And he's going to do everything in his power to get up here and take this away.
Yeah, right now, as I'm watching this, I mean, you're tight. I mean, it is 1.1 seconds from George Leal to Jason Jackson, who's in 7th place. I mean, this is tight, Dean.
It is. Wrecker close on the back of Helm. Really close race in there through the center part of the corner. Wrecker got to be a little frustrated falling back on that restart. I think he started 3rd, now in 6th. Things temporarily mellow out a little bit as Reiner closes in on our race leader, our championship leader, the 51, George Leal. Leal being smooth.
I was looking at the live standings, right, Dean? And everybody from 2nd to 6th is down 1 position. So how does that happen? Well, the leader has gained 6 positions. So he has put everybody down 1 spot from where they were. But it's so funny that we're on lap 126, and pretty much everybody in the top 6 is where they started in the spot.
Except for Leal. Unbelievable. What a job, Jared. That's a perfect illustration of what George Leal is.
Absolutely. I thought it was, exactly what you said. I mean, it's just insane. And that's kind of the season that he's had, right? Where things just come around for him in these races, and it's not by luck. I mean, he is hustling out there, biding his time, and he knows when to attack. I mean, how many times during this race did he just wait for Reiner and Ripka to battle, and he just kind of picked up the pieces, and he didn't try to get in there and make it a three-car battle. He just let them race and then picked up the pieces at the end. And now, when it comes down to the money shot, he is out here taking it to him.
Well, he is, but they've all caught him. I mean, these 3 are tight now, and Greg Ratliff and the crew are all catching up as well. So did Leal burn his stuff up, or is he managing his stuff right now, allowing them to catch up? I don't know. We're getting close to 22 to go here in the Charlotte 225 in the Alive Church Xfinity Series. What a thrilling finish we're about to have.
7 cars have a shot at this thing. Everybody else followed off the back. Most of those drivers, though, unfortunately had to take that wave around, so at a massive disadvantage. And then the only one that's kind of in the picture is Tony Ratliff, 1 lap down there in 11th position. But the top 7 all have a shot at this victory here tonight, Dean. And inside that group, we have Brian Helm, who hasn't won, Adam Record that hasn't won, Jason Jackson that hasn't won, Ripka that hasn't won since the first race of this season. So, I mean, it is a lot to play for here as this race continues.
And it really is. Leal and Reiner. Oh, there goes Reiner down to the bottom. The 14 trying to make his move. Leal sends it in deep, trying to hold him off.
Leal going to battle back on the outside. He does have that advantage to be able to kind of close off the run that Reiner has on the outside. It's not clear. Could Leal get down? He does. Doesn't clear himself yet, but Reiner's sticking it in there, making Leal work for it a little bit on the high side.
Yeah,
and Leal loses.
This is what Ripka wants to see, right? These guys side by side. Here we go again, down into 1. The 14 putting the pressure on. Everybody else closing in.
Yeah, this is going to suck everybody back up. The gap now from 1st to 7th is 1.4. 1st to 6th is 1.1.
Oh, no. Leal blinked out there momentarily. That was scary.
Ratliff is getting involved now. And man, oh man, if I'm Lance Ripka, I'm loving this. I'm just using the least amount of throttle, the least amount of turning I can, and try to pick up some pieces, because I think there's going to be some pieces to pick up here in a minute, Dean.
Oh, yeah, I'm not too sure these front 2 are going to win this thing. Like he said, Ripka's right there. Greg Ratliff closing in. Helm, Wrecker, and Jackson closing as well.
Yeah, all those drivers you named were faster than our first 2. So that tells you everything you need to know. Those 2 running side by side for all these laps, yeah, nobody can pass them because they're doing it, but they're also all catching back up to them.
Yeah, and both of these guys are working their stuff harder while running slower times. So this is very, very interesting. Ripka, the one main contender there lurking. Is he doing what you say he's doing? Let's go on board with Lance Ripka.
Yeah, he's looking very smooth to me, Dean, through this corner, right down to the tape, getting it off the corner, opening up the wheel a little bit. Probably a little heavy on X and on the throttle, in my opinion, but nothing major there. Down to turn 1 again. He's a little bit middle entry, late apex down there. Doesn't quite get down to the tape, but maybe he doesn't want to. He does touch it a little bit there, it looked like, possibly.
Yeah, a little late apex there, Jared.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. So I think he is doing what he can to save his stuff, right? But right now, he can't do anything at all. I mean, if they're going to run side by side and not give an inch here, it's not like he can slide in here and make it 3 wide anywhere.
He cannot, but this is crazy. Rachel Hunt just set the fastest lap of the race, by the way. That's interesting because we're several laps into the run. I don't know how that happened, but that is awesome for the one machine there.
Yeah, she just came off pit road on lap 129, so.
Okay, so there you have it. Right now, Reiner and Leal battling for the championship, battling for the race lead. Leal continuing, he's getting better and better of driving that outside, and I think Reiner is getting exhausted being pinched down on the bottom.
Yeah, I've been in this position. I've been on both sides. Mostly I've been on the bottom. And it's a little bit different open setup because the setups, even though they're more similar than they have ever been, there is some differences, right? In the fixed setup, I mean, you're kind of at the mercy, right? And if you're on the bottom, you can't open your wheel up. You have to hold a tighter wheel the entire time because you can't wash up into them. You almost washed into them in there.
Yeah, almost contact, and that Ripka still licking his chops. He's got to remain patient. Here comes Greg Ratliff into the picture. So if these guys can stay patient back here, still a lot of laps left. 14 coming down to 13 to go. The 14 continues to remain on the inside of George Leal.
But that's what I was going to say, Dean. If you're Bryce Reiner, I've been in his shoes, and it is frustrating. It's frustrating. You're like, I am faster than you. I know I am. And obviously on lap 10, it makes me really mad. But on lap 137, I definitely understand because you don't want to give up a spot. But, man, it is frustrating. You want to get in there, and Reiner's trying to send it in there a little bit deep, and Leal just has a little bit on the outside. And Reiner's, I think he's going to have to slide job him, honestly, Dean.
Well, and he might be willing to do that. This is where Leal's got to think, is this worth it to me or not? And I got to tell you, it is. But Ripka continuing to sit right there. I think Ripka could come through and grab this thing. This is going to get wild, folks.
Yeah, what about Greg Ratliff? I mean, he's come back up here. He's just hanging out, too.
Absolutely. And Helm's creeping in there. Wrecker's creeping in. I mean, the longer they do this, the more cars are going to get involved.
Yeah, and Brian Helm, like I said, hasn't won. Those back three guys on this pack. None of them have won in this league, let alone this season. So that'd be huge if they are able to get up there. But they have a lot of work in front of them if they are going to be competitive in this race. But right now, Ripka, he doesn't know what to do. Look, maybe a little contact between the leaders off turn 4.
Yeah, I think there was a sliver of paper of space there. Like you're trying to slide a paper through those pyramid stones, Jared.
Absolutely. Right there, Leal led that lap by 0.003 of a second. Indeed, we're down to 11 to go, 10 to go at the stripe.
Wow, incredible racing here. About 10 solid laps, side by side. Our two leaders fighting it out, while Buckshot Ripka lurks behind them and others are closing.
All right, let me ask you this, Dean. If you're Lance Ripka, you've been content running here, watching these two guys have their little fun, battle side by side. But is there a point in time where you're like, you kind of Kevin Harvick and shove him in there and kind of insert yourself into a situation?
You better believe there is. Now, the problem is you got two championship contenders, and you don't want to mess that up. You don't want to be the guy in the league that's destroyed the top two cars. But I'm telling you, at 6 to go, I'm finding a hole, Jared. I will make a hole. There will be a hole, even if we got to put all three of us in the wall.
Yeah, I mean, technically, if you wrecked both of them out, you didn't really affect the championship because they would have finished 1-2 here.
I like the way you think, Jared. It's all. So you're saying it's fair. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine. Leal really pinching down. Doesn't want Reiner to be able to sweep up. I am super impressed with Bryce Reiner being able to hold the bottom because it makes the car super tight when you're getting pinched down like that. Leal's not doing anything wrong. That's what you have to do. But it is super impressive that Reiner is driving the car in a way that he is not losing time on the bottom like this.
It is. It's incredible to continue to do it. Usually you see a guy do that 5-6 laps. He'll give up. He can't keep that car, can't get it at throttle on exit. Reiner is continuing to do it, and he is slowly wearing out the 51 of Leal. Hard to believe that. Leal with a little wiggle there off the corner, and Reiner leads that lap.
They've been doing this. I went back and looked since lap 131. Lap 131 was the first. They were side by side going into turn 1. That was the first time Reiner got underneath Leal, and it's 13 laps into this, Dean, side by side.
Yeah, absolutely epic here. Ripka falling off about 2 car lengths now. He's got to get up here. Greg Ratliff continues to be where he was. Ripka hits the wall. So Reiner and Leal, even though they're doing this side by side, they might be out racing the pack.
Yeah, they picked up a 10th on everybody behind him. Jason Jackson dropping off the back.
Oh,
So
and
right now,
Reiner surged there, Jared. What a great exit.
What a move by Bryce Reiner. Leo is going to have to really get in here, and he does. He does get in there, and he's going to have to pinch hard here. Use that seam to your advantage, George, and he does a great job. He's going to stick with Reiner, but Reiner is starting to land the body blows here on the 10th round.
He is. The body blows are paying off. Bryce Reiner looking for the lead. Leo sending it in there. He does not want that 14 to be able to clear up. He is clear. Will he file up? He does.
Yes.
Bryce Reiner, and he blocks the middle. A great job by the 14. He did not give the crossover to the 51, Jared.
Well, you wonder if that's going to cross Leo's mind. Like, he's like, hey, man, I got all the points in the bank. Like, I don't know if I would have done that.
What a move. Bryce Reiner says, hey, maybe I'm not going to make up all those championship points, but you can't keep me out of victory lane. Not over yet.
And it's crazy to think that that could be a championship battle if it wasn't for the first race of the season. I mean, just a tough break. But, man, what a job. What perseverance by Bryce Reiner if he's able to hold this thing on. But I'll tell you what, those guys ran side by side, and I thought Lance Ripken would be here to pick up the scraps once they got separated, and he isn't.
Well, and I thought Leo, I thought it would be Reiner punishing that right front on the bottom. Yeah. But look at him. He's pulling away now, Jared.
I'm beyond impressed with Bryce Reiner there. I just can't believe that he was able to be held down the bottom for so long and not waste the right front off, because you turn the wheel more on the bottom when you're getting pitched down like that.
I tell you, we talk about guys missing here tonight. The Bulldog, Adam Newton, not with us tonight. Sometimes in the booth, love him. And he talked about Reiner the other night, and he's just so impressed with what Bryce Reiner is able to do. So Bryce Reiner coming down now. He will be getting the white flag here. One more corner to that white flag. Unbelievable. Leo holding on to second with Ripka surging in third, thinking he might make a move.
Yeah, and those other guys, Ratliff and Wrecker and Helm, those guys have all fallen off the back of this pack now. So it looked like they might have a shot, but once everybody got single file, the gap opened back up again as we got the white flag there for Bryce Reiner.
Bryce Reiner doing all he can do, being all he can be, living fully alive. He's got the white flag headed down into corner 3, through 3, into 4, comes out of 4. It's going to be Bryce Reiner, winner here in the Charlotte 225. Leo comes second, Ripka third, Ratliff fourth, and Helm holding on for a top 5 with Wrecker on the outside there for 6. Unbelievable, Jared. I mean, a couple of cautions here tonight brought us some excitement. You see their mutual respect of all the guys at the front as they kind of crowd around Reiner a little bit and then drive around him. I mean, what a race.
I don't know how you couldn't be impressed by that. If you're watching that happen, I don't know how you couldn't be like, did this really just happen here?
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. I thought Leo would be the guy with the better tires through that battle. He's a little freer up on that high side. I couldn't be more wrong. The 14 proving his might, saving himself. He's got one last chance to try and take that championship next week, and I need some help. But right now he's doing donuts because he's back in victory lane. He's loving it. Burning him down.
It's going to be tough. I mean, Leo's going to have, 20, or Reiner's going to have, 25, 26 guys show up next week and have Leo have a bad race, which, I mean, seems unlikely. But, Reiner did have that one bad race this year. So, I mean, it is possible. But, man, it's going to be tough. But Reiner is definitely not going down without a fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing everything he can. All right, let's take a commercial break. We'll come back. We'll talk to Reiner and others. right, back here at beautiful Charlotte Motor Speedway. Look at that track all lit up. I mean, I can't get enough of this view, Jared. I could ride around on this blimp all night.
Yeah, it's a great view, a pretty track. I mean, really just excellent job to highlight this track in iRacing.
All right, let's take a look at our results. We talked about our top five, ending with Helm. You got Wrecker, Jackson, Williams, Travis, and Tony Ratliff in your top 10. Rachel Hunt, she got the fastest lap of the race down in 11th. Corey Buskirk, 12th. Jason Brantley in 13th. And then several guys were involved in that wreck. Gilly, Musial, Olson, Kane, and Dibble. I think a couple actually came back on the track, but others were done early here tonight. I mean, man, we got everything we wanted tonight, Jared.
Yeah, we had everything. I can't even like wrap my head around the fact that Leo was able to hold the outside for so long, and Reiner was the one that came out on top. I mean, that's the part that I'm just like, wow, that's how that happened. Okay.
You seen it live. You can believe it, man. I mean, it happened out there as we bring in Lance Buckshot Ripka, third place finish here tonight. He had a bird's eye view of that awesome fight, and I'm sure Lance had some higher hopes there as those laps were winding down.
I most certainly did. Yeah, I was just wasn't hoping for a wreck, but maybe those two would use each other's tires and give me the opportunity to get around. But yeah, having to let off so much and just kind of feather it coming off, I don't know, my right rear went.
Let me ask you this, Lance, because I believe this is probably the case. Are you a little in amazement that those guys fought like that for about 15 laps solid, and somehow, some way, I mean, they managed to not burn their stuff up? You had to be sitting there milking your stuff thinking, this is all mine, about 5:10 to go. I'm just going to take off and take these guys.
That's what I initially was thinking when they were side by side for about 10 laps, and I was right on their bumper. But then they started to pull me side by side, so those two were fast. I wouldn't believe it if it was any other two drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was great to see you out there as a return to form. What more can you do out here, Lance? We've seen in the past, you were known as a long run racer, just a great racer in general, but especially on a long run. And now these guys, these two, I mean, they seem to have taken it to another level. I mean, is it just more laps? Let's get out on that practice one more time.
I think a lot of it has to do with not getting behind the wheel and practicing as much as I have been able to. Just busy schedule, But no, those guys are they're just fast, Just when you think you got it figured out, those guys figure something else out. So, it's just going to be week in, week out, following those guys until I can pass them.
Absolutely. And I see that coming, Lance. There's no doubt about it. I mean, you were the top guy, the top dog, the big dog, if you will. And, you had to take some time off for work and service to your country and all that. And, salute to you on that. And now, I mean, I think you're back, baby. Like, I mean, we've been seeing it more and more the last few weeks. Are you feeling good about your driving right now?
Still a little bit. I'm playing catch up with this tire wear deal. Instead of chasing my right front, I was chasing my right rear this race. Last race, it was the right front. So it's just kind of going back and forth. But I'll get it, and I'll just keep putting my best foot forward until I do.
It's interesting you bring that up, Lance. The latest update or model or whatever you want to say, it seems to vary track to track. I mean, how frustrating or how inconvenient is it that, 1 week it's the right front, 1 week it's the right rear? I mean, heck, you can throw in the left rear in there too.
Yeah, it's frustrating, but at the same time, it puts a whole nother level of realism to it, I guess. Where it makes it a lot more challenging. So if you don't get the seat time and understanding what the tires are going to do before the race, then you're just you're just along for the ride.
Well, Lance, you're never just along for the ride. Great job hanging in there and making even more excitement for us up here in the broadcast. Can't wait to see you in victory lane, but congrats on a fantastic third place finish here tonight. And we'll give you the floor, brother, to shout out your sponsors.
First of all, I want to shout out Bryce and George. Man, that was a heck of a battle they put on. Great show. Would have liked to have been able to capitalize on that, but it is what it is. Like to thank Alive Church, East Coast Web Printers, Ripka Designs, and of course you guys for putting on a great broadcast.
All right, Jared, that's Lance Buckshot Ripka in the number 52.
Yeah, I'm down here, Dean, with our runner-up tonight, George Leal. George, we got to talk about the last 15 laps side by side for Bryce Reiner, and neither of you guys given an inch. It was clean, it was fair, but talk us through that battle.
Yeah, I went to make a move there early in the run because I figured Bryce was going to be hard to pass, or anybody hard to pass after we get some wear on the tires, and I was able to do that. And he was just able to get a run on me. I probably moved up a little too early. He wasn't technically underneath me, but he got there, and we were running side by side, and I didn't really think I would be able to stay out there that long, and I was just sitting there thinking how I'm toast once we sort this out. But I tried my damnedest to stay out there, and Bryce is a hell of a racer, and there's not very many people you can do that with.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised. I think it was probably one of the best finishes we've seen this year. I mean, the finish maybe not the best, but the race up to the finish was just insane. I don't know if I've ever seen a side-by-side battle on a fixed setup like that in a while. So, I mean, that was incredible. But, you know, you think about this race and had so many ebbs and flows, George, you know, with, you know, down to the last two races and now down to the last race next week, you know, were you thinking about points at all, or were you thinking like, hey, I got to get out here and win races? That's what I'm here to do.
Well, I want to win, but I'm not going to do anything too crazy. But Lance and Bryce, those guys, you can trust them pretty good, and I felt like we were doing good there, giving each other plenty of room and plenty of respect there. So, but yeah, big picture, definitely looking pretty good in the points, but try to come out here and win every race.
Yeah, and they've just uploaded the points. I mean, you're coming out of here 22 points to the good over Bryce Reiner. That means if we get 21 drivers or fewer, you're the official champion going into without even turning a lap going into next week. I mean, does that kind of weigh on you heading into next week? Is that something on your mind? Do you want to have it clinched out, or you hope you get 40 guys out here and you have to really work for it?
I don't think anybody would say they want to be able to mathematically get beat, but I'm going to show up and do my best. And like I said, I'm not going to put myself in a terrible spot like I did Thursday, and just go out there and race as hard as I can and without taking too much risk.
So, you know, we're going into what track are we heading to next week? By Homestead. Can we expect the 51 car to kind of gamble on some strategy next week if you got that thing locked up before the race starts?
Yeah, if it's looking good, I might have to take a chance there. Especially if you're not leading the race, you know, it doesn't really do too good. Like y'all say, if you do what the leader does, you're just gonna follow him. So I might try something.
Well, at least somebody's been listening to us up here, Dean. But George, man, what a race! I can't commend you enough. What a season! But I'm going to turn the mic over to you, bud, and let you have the last word on your race here tonight.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys, and thanks for doing these broadcasts each and every race. Thanks to the RGR guys for putting on such an awesome place to race. Thanks to Mike and Shannon Brown and Alive Church for sponsoring this series, and Jason Brantley and East Coast Web Printers for keeping us on TV on Thursdays, and congratulate Bryce on the win, and that was a hell of a race, and appreciate the respect there between the two of us.
Absolutely, and Dean, what a job by George Leal here tonight, coming up home second place.
Yeah, amazing job. Only one better. The number 14, Bryce Reiner in victory lane. The only place that he could be tonight to stay in that battle, and you did it on a fantastic battle. Congratulations. What a win, Bryce.
Yeah, thank you guys. What a blast.
I mean, it was something. Let's get right into it there. You guys running about 15 laps side by side. You got the great Buckshot Ripka lurking right behind you, along with a few others like Ratliff and Helm and others. And you got to be thinking, this is not good for us to keep doing this. I mean, and you on the bottom, I mean, we were convinced you were going to burn up that right front or something. What were you thinking? How was it from your perspective?
No idea. It's all a blur. But I'll try to recap. Yeah, I mean 15, 20 laps. I want to say we went right at the 20 mark, side by side, because I knew if I had that run, I needed to make it in order to pass him, because I just didn't think I had another run in me to get underneath him. But going side by side for that long, for that many laps, not touching once, just good, close, hard racing is pretty much all you can ask for. And I heard a little bit of George's at the end, and respect is the key word here. I mean, respect is how all of us race each other, and when it gets to this point where we're side by side, this is how we go green flag racing, and this is the RGR way, to put it easy. But yeah, I was scared. Maybe not scared, but I was tense just for a little bit. Going side by side for that long, because I knew Lance was pretty much right there. Um, and if I got past George a little bit earlier, I think Lance maybe could have saved a bit to get to me. But yeah, I don't know if we were stacking up the field a little bit or not. I really
Yeah,
couldn't
a
tell. I
little
was
bit.
just, eyes forward, and make sure I wrap the bottom on both ends of the track, so I don't push up into George.
Like, I don't think you were stacking up the field, Brace, but what you were doing was allowing people to stay in it or close closer. And, you guys both brought it up respect. I mean, you just can't do that around everybody. These are some of the best. I mean, you already talked about it, so I mean, I'm just going to reiterate like how great it is to have these guys who can race this hard for that long, no contact. It's phenomenal for us up here in the booth, Bryce, and we can't be more impressed, man. I mean, I don't even know what else to say. I mean, we could ask you about pit stops and stuff, but I would rather just
Yeah, go
keep
ahead.
saying like respect, man. I mean, to trust. Think about both of you guys running for a championship. George with a nice lead, he goes up there and he passes you, Bryce, for the lead. I mean, I don't think you do that unless there's complete and utter trust in the guys you're racing.
Yeah, 100%. When he passed me there after that caution flag, and we reset the field and fresh tires and everything, and I beat him out to the pit lane. I'm like, okay, I just got to hold him off and for as long as possible, and hopefully he uses up just a little bit more tires than I did. And there was one instance where he did get a huge run, and I was like, all right, like I will sit behind you and save my stuff, and hopefully a couple of these runs can turn into something, and it sure did. Um, I know me and him are battling like crazy these last couple weeks in both Xfinity and Gen 6 right now. Um, it's all tough racing, and it's coming down to the wire. I don't know how much I've got in me to for the last race
Well, you
to
better
close
have
it in,
something,
but
Bryce. A little something for Homestead,
I'm
eh?
gonna I'm gonna try. You know me. I'm definitely gonna try. But I wasn't hoping for that one caution, because I had a plan set in my mind, um, when we were racing to catch Greg and all them. I had a plan, and it once that caution came out, it kind of screwed my plan up just a little bit. But it all worked out in the end, and can't wait for next week. It's gonna be a thriller, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Regardless of whether the championship's on the line, I think you both proved we're going to race hard and we're going to race for these wins. And I can't wait to see what happens at Homestead. But let's enjoy this one while we got it, right, Bryce? I mean, get down there, drink some champagne, maybe hit the town tonight or something. What a win, man. It was a thriller. Congratulations, brother. We'll turn it over to you. Any friends, family, sponsors you want to shout out? You go right ahead.
Yeah, thank you guys. One heck of a battle, like I said. Tough track to go side by side. I know it's not easy at Charlotte, that's for sure, especially turn 4 wall and turn 1 wall. Anywhere you can smack that pretty bad and destroy your car or destroy others. So it's good that I left him a little bit of room to work with. But yeah, I want to give a shout out to him as well, George. Lance as well. Me and Lance were going after it quite a bit throughout the green flag runs. Shout out to you guys up in the booth. You guys do an awesome job each and every week. RGR, all the admins that put together this group. East Coast Web Printing for Xfinity League. The East Coast, or no, not East Coast. East Coast for Gen 6 and Alive Church for Xfinity. They help us, put this up and keep racing like we do. And thanks to all my sponsors as well.
All right. The great Bryce Reiner, the Terminator, as we coined it up here, grabbing the win tonight, Jared. I mean, not much more you can say. It was a thriller.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen somebody be able to hold the bottom for 15 laps. But man, what a race!
Yeah, incredible action. And of course, Jared, looking forward, we got Homestead. I mean, what do you think we're going to see there?
Well, that track is designed, progressive banking. One of the first tracks to ever do it when they went away from the flat Homestead, which I personally miss. I think it's gonna be great. I think we're gonna see a lot of the same stuff again next week, and I wouldn't be surprised if the same 3-4 guys we talked about most of the night here tonight.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. And I don't even know how to wrap this one up. It was so good. I want to stay. It's one of those ones where you sit in the stands for a while after the race. But for myself, D. Doucette, for Mr. Jared Carr, that will wrap it up from Charlotte Motor Speedway. And we'll see you right here next time